Thank you all so much for joining us here today. We are here to talk about a pervasive public health crisis. Gun violence is the #1 killer of children in the United States of America. Gun violence. It's unacceptable. We don't have to live like this. And if I have anything to do with it, we won't. We are here today to talk about solutions. We're here today to share stories of individuals whose lives have been impacted by gun violence and what we're doing about it. I'm so honored to be joined by local lawmakers, community change agents, and of course, the Honorable Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, who has dedicated her life to making our world safer and free from gun violence. I want to welcome to this podium now City Commissioner Mindy Isasi, who has some words for us to share about the impact of gun violence on the city, and then I'll share some more extended remarks later. And each individual will introduce the person going after them. Thank you. Thank you all.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Congresswoman, for putting this together. As you said, it's a public health issue, and that's really the way that we need to think about this epidemic in our country. My name is Melinda Isasi, and I am a city commissioner for the city of Grand Rapids. In my second year on commission, I received a call from a family member who was distraught, upset, and so scared because their young adult son had been shot in one of our local parks. So many things ran through my mind. Where was he shot? What led up to this? How could this happen in a park, which is supposed to be a place of refuge and play for our city? While he recovered physically from those injuries that day and survived the mental pain, the anguish, really the fear of something like that happening again has continued to stay with him. Because of this personal experience, because I'm a daughter of a school principal, and because I want my niece and nephew who live in this city and who are getting ready to be school-age children to be safe every single day, and a proud Spartan, I believe it is vitally important that this year and every single year we really focus putting people like Congresswoman Scholten, who are gun violence reduction advocates, who understand how to work across the aisle to say this is and should be a bipartisan issue. And I will be urging all my friends, all the young people I know, family members, asking people to text 5 people to make sure that we send Congresswoman Scholten back to Congress so that we can finally stop this epidemic. Thank you. And I know for me it's personal, like many people that you'll hear from today, but one of the people that I've been so lucky to work alongside and who has just done this work day in and day out, every single event, is Jane Whittington. Where's Jane on that end? And she will be talking from her perspective as a leader with our local chapter of Moms Demand Action. Jane?
Thank you. I was only told a few minutes ago that I was speaking, so. My name is Jane Whittington, and I'm a volunteer with the Grand Rapids chapter of Moms Demand Action, a grassroots organization with chapters in all 50 states. Moms work to advocate for and educate around the issue of gun violence, and we rely on partners in Grand Rapids like Lisa and Mindy, statewide and nationally, to strengthen our cause. We are fortunate in Michigan to have a state government that reflects our values and has stepped up to provide new state laws around gun violence that just make sense. Locally, our city commissioners and other Grand Rapids officials are working hard to make Grand Rapids a safer city. We appreciate the work of Representative Scholten on our behalf. Sometimes the work feels never-ending, but we remind ourselves of the words of our founder, Shannon Watts, who started Moms Demand Action the day after Sandy Hook, sitting at her table in Connecticut and wondering what she could do to save children. She says, "This is a marathon, not a sprint," and so we keep going.
okay. I got you.
Okay.
Now we're going to have Jackie Kelly come to the stage from Moms on a Mission and share her experience. I'm going to introduce Lisa Knight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline Kelly, and I'm a part of the group Moms on a Mission. And we are a group that we are totally against gun violence. Me, as a mom, I've lost 2 sons. It's just horrifying how these young folks are using these guns to kill each other up. So we are strictly voting for Scholten here because her laws are the right laws. And we thank each and every one that has supported our group and for her bringing us here today to let us be heard. That's why we get out, we canvass the streets with pictures of all of our sons and daughters who have been brutally murdered with guns. Us as mothers, we cry, we fight, and it's just such a bad feeling to go to bed every night thinking about your loved ones. How the kids nowadays can't even play, go to the park. They can't even go to schools because of the violence that the people are inflicting on each other. Do away with the guns. God bless us all. Now we'll have release.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Lisa Knight. I am the Executive Director of the Girls Choral Academy. I am another one of our second ward commissioners. I'm the mother of 11 children and 13 grandbabies. So to want to stand here and talk about how important it is for us to protect our children and our communities is so meaningful in my life. I recently, matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, buried a nephew who died from gun violence in this community, who also lost a sister 6 months before that. We have to be in a place where we're ready and willing to take action to protect our community, to protect our future, to protect each other. And we know when we have the right people in the right positions, they are able to enact laws and negotiate on things that will impact our communities positively. So we're looking forward to Congresswoman Scholten getting back in that seat and getting back to work, and the work that Congresswoman Gabby has done across the years. It's important that we take all aspects of gun safety into our consideration when we're doing things in our community. We know that our schools have enacted different policies that have protected a number of our children this year, but there's more work than can be done. We know that there's work that needs to be done on the local and federal levels, and we have to get into action and begin to put these things in place so that the lives of our future is protected. So I thank you all for coming here. I thank you for your consideration, and we look forward to you all voting this year. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Commissioner. Now we are going to hear from Elizabeth Lancaster, who is a Giffords Fellow.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth Lancaster. I'm a Grand Rapids native, and I first got involved in gun violence prevention on February 14th, 2018. I was sitting in my history class at City High, and rather than doing schoolwork, I was refreshing the news. There was a shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida earlier in the day, and while it wasn't the first shooting that I had heard about, this time it felt different. As someone who was born in 2000, I grew up hearing about shootings happening across the country, in elementary schools, in places of worship, at concerts, in movie theaters. But here I found myself mere months away from turning 18, and realizing that the government had failed me and young people like me with their inaction for my entire life. This was a moment I'll never forget because it was one of those moments where there's no turning back. I knew I could no longer stand by helplessly and watch the violence continue. I wanted to be a part of the change. I organized a student walkout at my school and was one of the organizers of the Grand Rapids March for Our Lives, which at the time was the largest march and rally in Grand Rapids history. And I decided I wanted to continue to be a part of the change. I attended Michigan State University the following year and formed Students Against Gun Violence at MSU with my friend Brian. We spent the next few years trying to change MSU's firearms policy, which at the time was severely lacking. Around the same time, I joined Giffords as a Courage Fellow and got to learn from Gabby and other inspiring gun violence prevention advocates, while also connecting with and learning alongside other young people in the same position I was in. One of the most important lessons I've learned from Gabby is that change has never happened because people sat around and waited for it. Change only happens when we have the courage to fight for it. By the time I graduated, we hadn't changed MSU's firearms policy. We raised awareness for the issue, but were told that it could take years to change the policy. Just as I was leaving MSU, though, my brother started attending MSU, and I'm so proud to say that he picked up where I left off, trying to change MSU's firearms policy, but still, progress remained slow. The 5th anniversary of the Parkland shooting was February 14th, 2023. I was spending the evening beforehand thinking about the state of gun violence in our country. I was so proud of all that we were able to accomplish in those 5 years, but also saddened that so many lives were lost nonetheless. As I sat reflecting on those 5 years, I got a message from a friend saying that there were shots fired on MSU's campus. Then I got a text from my brother saying that he was currently in the corner of a dark office, hiding from an active shooter. 4 years and 364 days before the anniversary of the event that caused me to get involved in gun violence prevention, and suddenly it was happening to my family. I'm so grateful to say that my brother was unharmed, but like everyone else, I felt powerless and helpless mourning the lives of Ariel, Alexandria, and Brian alongside my Spartan community. In the wake of such unimaginable tragedy, though, I was so inspired by and in awe of the MSU students who stood up and said, "Enough is enough." I'm proud to say that because of their courage and their determination, MSU changed their firearms policy. Change only happens when people have the courage to fight for it, and that's why I'm so honored to be here with Gabby Giffords and Congresswoman Scholten, two strong women that I am inspired by as changemakers. Gabby Giffords is the very definition of courage. She has been a hero and a mentor to me and countless other young advocates across the country, and I'm so inspired by her strength, dedication, and perseverance. Congresswoman Scholten has proven that she is devoted to fighting for common sense gun policies. She has shown that she has the courage to stand up and fight to end the gun violence epidemic, not just for Michigan, but for the entire country. I'm not a single issue voter. There's a lot that I care about other than gun violence prevention, but as a young woman who spent her entire young adulthood fighting for this cause, I can say that Hillary Scholten is without a doubt a gun safety congresswoman and is the best candidate to fight for common sense gun policies. I'm happy to have her as an advocate in our quest for change, and I know that if reelected, she will continue to have the courage to say enough is enough. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Thank you for your courage, for your work, and your tireless advocacy. You know, you mentioned your brother was unharmed, but we know that even individuals who don't experience physical impacts in mass shootings, like the one that occurred at MSU, the mental trauma that they experience, the worry that they fear, the ripple effect and the reverberations of that violence go out far beyond even the school where it occurred, to loved ones, family members, and other students who wonder, will it happen here next? It's a horrible, horrible epidemic. And there is something we can do about it, and we're trying to do something about it every single day. Elections matter. I am the first member of the Gun Violence Prevention Task Force in West Michigan history. Elections matter. And this election will be decisive. The choice we make when we cast our ballots this November will determine the future that we forge for our children. This is a pivotal moment in America. We owe it to our kids and future generations to vote for a future unmarred by gun violence. We've said it before, but it bears repeating. that gun violence is the #1 killer of children in the United States of America. We're losing more kids to gun violence than car accidents and cancer. No one should know the pain of burying a child, let alone two. We are not helpless to end this, and it is far past time. In the past 3 years, there are at least 75 fatal shootings in Grand Rapids, and 32% of people lived near a shooting in the city of Grand Rapids. That is too many to have experienced the horror of gun violence, even if they themselves were not on the other end of a firearm. The gun lobby has a hold on some of my colleagues and, frankly, my potential opponents, who I'm sure will continue to perpetuate these horrific laws that allow these dangerous weapons to be in the hands of individuals who should not have them. I'm running not just for my reelection, but for our future. A future that is safe from gun violence. We need to pass Ethan's Law to ensure that firearms are not left unsecured, lying in wait for children to unintentionally kill or injure themselves or others. We need to pass universal background checks so domestic abusers and criminals cannot access guns. We need to ban assault weapons because weapons of war do not belong in our communities. We will not accomplish this without a House, Senate, and White House that is unified in a vision for a safer future for us all. This election, we're voting for more than just the next 2 or 4 years. We're voting for a future for our children and our children's children. So let's elect candidates who are going to give them a safer and brighter tomorrow that is free from gun violence. There is almost no one that I can think of who has dedicated more of their lives to this work than the Honorable Congresswoman Gabby Giffords. Your courage, your kindness, your refusal to not back down have had an immeasurable impact on the gun violence prevention movement. And I am so honored to welcome you to West Michigan. The path to the presidency, to taking back the House, to holding the Senate runs right here through West Michigan. We know it. Gabby Giffords knows it. The voters are going to know it too. Thank you all so much. Please help me welcome Gabby Giffords.
Our lives can change so quickly. Mine did when I was shot. But I never gave up hope. I chose to make a new start, to move ahead, to not look back. I'm relearning so many things, how to walk, how to talk, and I'm fighting to make the country safer. It can be so difficult. Losses hurt. Setbacks are hard. But I tell myself, move ahead. I'm finding joy in the small things. Ride my bike, playing the French horn, going to the gym, laughing with friends. The small things add up. We are living challenging time. We're up for the challenge. My own recovery has taken years. Many, many, many people that helped me along the way, and I learned so much. I learned when people care for each other and work together, progress is possible. A world is possible. But change doesn't happen overnight, and we can't do it alone. Join me. Let's move ahead together. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much.